Hi, I'm really pleased with Leo Stuparich, filmmaker, film editor, and I know that you're here to launch a really important campaign. You spent 5 years on a project, you wrote a piece, you followed around the Dalai Lama. Few people have had that kind of pleasure, and you're now kind of feeling a responsibility to kind of take the message of that film that you did independently to the world. Tell us a little bit about the project. And about the fundraising campaign now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was privileged enough to have 2 weeks to film with the Dalai Lama, which most people, they want to have a few minutes with him, and that's what they're really keen to spend some time with him. But for me, it was a real opportunity to connect with him and really kind of experience what he's like as a real person. So I heard so many things from people about what he's like, his message, his energy, that when he walks into the room people say they feel amazing. And when I started hearing about the Dalai Lama, I became fascinated. I was a bit interested in Buddhism, a bit interested in looking for alternative ways of living. I was trying to find things that could make me happier in life and kind of improve my life, and the Dalai Lama seemed like a great guy.
And I understand you're looking for films, and you couldn't find anything that quite captured that essence.
So as a filmmaker, and somebody as a film fan, I searched, and I looked for various films, and I ended up reading a couple of books which gave me a bit more insight, but all the films I found didn't really connect on a heart level with him. They didn't really show what he was like as a person. They were largely concentrating on the political issue, which is hugely important, but that wasn't the essence of why he's so popular and why so many people want to go and see his public talks. Millions of people follow him on Facebook, and thousands of people go and see him when he's doing a public talk in a major city, and I couldn't see any of that represented in the media.
Right, and what I'm lucky to be one of those people who have seen that film, and that energy and that magic and that simplicity and that potency comes through very powerfully. Now that you've made this documentary, what are you keen to do with it? I know that there have been some screenings, and I understand that this is what this campaign is all about, to try and take it to the wider world. Lots of people think, well, why are you doing a fundraising campaign? Surely lots of people are already keen to put this on, or what have you. Tell us about that.
Funnily enough, on World Peace Day, we launched the film for free on Facebook, because the most important thing for me is that the message that's within the film is shared with as many people as possible. So at the moment we're giving it away because for me it's really important that not only are people seeing it, but to do it via social media and Facebook,
so everyone
you can actually have a dialogue around it. So people can respond. I can talk to people who are writing back about the film, what they think about it, and it's great to kind of build that relationship. But I think you can only kind of go so far with that kind of thing.
Right.
And so, as you said, it's been 5 years to make.
Right.
So obviously it was all self-funded. I made it all myself.
Right.
I kind of did it in between contracts.
Right. Because presumably you, as I understand, you're only just telling me now, I didn't realise this. As a film, you've worked on all sorts of things: Strictly Come Dancing, X Factor, all sorts of things.
As an editor.
An editor. So I'm imagining you're making you could make a comfortable living doing that. Now, once you start making films, so it becomes independently, it becomes a whole different thing. As I'm sure you're mindful of. So how, for somebody who doesn't know, how does somebody, when they're trying to do this independently, to get people to view this kind of thing, what is the route ahead in order for you to be able to share that and to get that, as you're saying, you've only been able to get that so far. What needs to happen from here on?
Well, we've been asking people to host their own community screenings. DVDs are a great way of people sharing the film and connecting it with other people. There's a lot of people who aren't on Facebook, there's a lot of people who don't really engage that well. And we're slowly kind of getting into the cinemas as well. Actually, last few weeks it's been taken in Australia by the people who are organising Dalai Lama's visit to Australia next year. They're using it to promote his visit, and they've been renting cinemas across Australia, and the cinemas have been selling out. Right. So there's a real passion for this film.
So people seem to be interested and so on. So what would really help? What is it that people can do? Because it sounds as though that people begin to think, this does need to be seen. I've seen it. I was there at the first launch and people were really responding to it. So what can people do? Somebody who's watching this and thinks, actually I like the sound of this, I want to see this film, or I haven't seen it before and I want to do something. What can people practically or materially do.
Yeah. Well, on one level, you can go onto Facebook and the film's still screening there. You can watch it and you can see what you think. There's perks on the campaign, so you can either pre-order the DVD or get some of the other perks that are there. But the heart of it really isn't financial; it's spreading the word. And really, I'm more keen that people spread the word than they are.
Right. So this is a wonderful richness here that you're saying. Go and watch it on Facebook if you can. If you're arrested by this, or you want to, if you want to support, get the DVD. If you're wanting to share that, then share that. If you want to do others, so there's all sorts of ways in which people can engage with this and spread the message.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, at the heart of the film, it's the message is that peace begins within, or change begins within. So we have to look within ourselves to bring about that change.
And what's the change in you? Because I'm lucky to met you about a year ago at a media kind of group, and I knew that you were very passionate about this and a number of other things about creatives and about filmmaking, and this film in particular, and as a doorway to that.
Yeah.
What's the change that this has made in you?
Well, for me, it's been transformational. I mean, when I started the film, I was, going about my day job, having my usual conflicts in everyday life, and through making the film and working with the material and going through the editing process and then talking about the film, I've really gained a kind of deep understanding on what universal responsibility means, and that's the Dalai Lama's overarching message, which is that essentially we're all, as an individual, responsible for not only ourselves and our actions in the world, but we have to take responsibility for everything that's happening. So we can't wait for someone else to go and fix our problems. It's up to us to start acting towards that, or not just ignoring it, just being aware of it, or learning about it, but just taking some sense of responsibility. And the more responsibility you take, actually, it starts to transform your life, because actually you realise that you're in charge of your life, and you can make the decisions that you make on a day-to-day basis, how you react to certain situations, will transform not just your life but the lives of people around you, because you're less confrontational, you're more aware of what's happening, you can be more compassionate because you start understanding how other people are, you put yourselves in other people's shoes essentially, and that's the effect it's had on me. And I know that people that have watched the film are also taking elements of that already, even after 1 or 2 viewings, and people are coming back watching it 3 or 4 times and just saying every time they watch it they learn something new. And for me, I've seen it hundreds of times, and every time I watch it I still learn something new, and I'm blown away by that.
Yeah, that's very, very, very powerful, and it seems that there's something about the momentum of how this project has kind of transformed your life and been the road that you've now taken, isn't it? It seems that it's changed the road that you've been going on, and this passion to help people to see the film and to, if they wanted to support, to engage, become involved in it. So this is far more about a crowd kind of consciousness as much as it's a crowd funding or crowd anything or viewing kind of thing. It's a crowd consciousness thing. There's a snowballing, isn't it? And the invitation of people to view, to be at peace with themselves, to be at peace with their world and in the world.
I think at the heart of it, it's inspiration. I mean, the Dalai Lama inspires thousands, millions of people around the world, and I've tried to capture that inspiration in a film. So when people watch that, the feedback I'm getting, and my wish is that people are inspired to start looking more inward in their own lives, a bit of self-inspection, bit of looking at how their life is affecting others around them. If you're doing a job that you hate, how is that playing out? Are you doing what you love in your life? All these key questions which are at the heart of happiness, and from happiness is love and compassion and peace, and it's all kind of encapsulated, and the Dalai Lama is a great example of how we can do that, and which is at the heart of why I made the film, because I knew in myself that there was something in there, but didn't really know what, and it was only through kind of exploring, being with him, observing him. And
on that very personal note, before we close, how did you find him personally, how did you find, from going on that journey, wanting to make a film, find a film, and then make that film, and to have that thing to be in the presence of somebody whose their whole life is being devoted and nurtured to nurture peace within oneself and with others? How did you find that?
I think there's no simple answer to what the Dalai Lama's like as a person, but there's certainly the friendliness, the warmth that he gives to every single person in exactly the same way. He just is himself. He doesn't change his behaviour depending on if he's meeting prime ministers, celebrities, someone in the street. He's just being himself. And that's really quite, in some respects it's really endearing, in other respects it's quite intimidating, because he is who he is, and there's no kind of moulding to other people in that respect.
And that's wonderful, isn't it? And that is inspiring, isn't it? And it connects to what you were saying before about just living life, being connecting, and that love and that joyfulness and that happiness and that peacefulness. That it's real. It's very pragmatic, and that seems to be a lot for me. It's real. It's very pragmatic.
Yeah.
That peace is a very immediate kind of thing.
Yeah.
By being
it's a state of peace. Is a state of being. Peace is, it's not. We had this idea that peace is a state of mind, and I think actually no, it's a state of how we are, how we behave. We're human beings. How we be in that, and that's what I've learned from the film anyway. So I want to, my passion is that this gets shared with as many people as possible.
Well, thank you, and thank you for sharing that with us now. For people who are really wanting to find out more, depending on how they've seen this, what's the best websites for people to go on to discover more?
Firstly, on Facebook, it's facebook.com/Road to Peace Film.
And that's where people can see the film.
That's where people can see the film.
Yeah.
And then secondly, on the main Road to Peace website, which is roadtopeace.co.uk.
And I suspect that there'll be all sorts of people watching this and who are wanting to do their own piece, to support peace in whatever way that is. And I just sort of thank you for playing your part. And I think that filmmakers and creatives and what they do by shining a light on life is very, very powerful and very profound. I just want to wish you all the best on the road that you're on, and take care. I'm going to leave you to smile at the camera,
Thank you.
All the best with the campaign and with the screenings.
Thank you. Thank you.